So, welcome to our Cosplay Cafe panel. This is basically a bonus episode for this weekend. So, I'm going to roll our credits and then I will bring in my co host and my wonderful guest. So I have my co-host Andrea Starnes here with me today. Good morning, Andrea.
Yeah, hey guys. This is means a lot to me because I'm usually not out of bed yet. So I'm here. Yeah, normally I don't get out of bed till 12:30, so I am here.
Andrea is not.
I think. I work nights, so I go to bed at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is the earliest and the only daytime cosplay cafe y'all will ever get. Probably.
I'm awake for it, so here we are. And following Chris Jowers is going to be a feat. He is always the life of the party.
Oh, we love Chris so much.
Oh, yes. I have known Chris for years now. He's amazing.
But our guest is also the life of the party. You are going to love him. He's my friend, Fred. We were in Heroes Alliance together in Wisconsin. Fred is also known as Space Pope Costuming, and I'm going to have him explain his name because it's a really fun story. So Fred offered to join in actually just last week when I was a little overwhelmed with all this. He's like, what can I help with? Because he's that kind of guy. He's got a really good heart for charity. He's also in the 501st. Super talented. He's just an amazing guy. He's super fun, and I love Fred. So I'm going to bring him in. Welcome, Fred.
Welcome.
Hi, Fred.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm like Andrea. I'm not a morning person, so I'm hyped up on lots of caffeine.
Like I said, this is my sponsor for the show here. My Dr. Pepper.
And I keep trying to get Republic of Tea to call me, and it hasn't happened yet. I should probably just send them an email and be like, here's my show. I don't have a cup right now because I've been rushing around this morning. But anyways, how are you doing, Fred?
I'm good. I'm awake.
That's maybe a good thing, maybe not. We haven't decided.
Yeah.
You look great. I love your Tick costume so much.
Thank you.
So much nostalgia while looking at a Tick cosplayer.
Last time Fred and I did a show was my Drunk Comics, and he talked about the Tick.
I grew up on watching the Tick. Probably was a little too young to be watching it when I did, but you know.
So this episode's theme is cosplay on a budget because, as we all know, cosplay is an expensive hobby. But we're here to tell you that you can do it on a budget. It just takes some planning and hope.
Yes.
Definitely.
And one of my cosplay heroines, DJ Spider, likes to say it can either be fast, cheap, or really high quality. You can usually pick two of the three. You cannot have all three.
Very rarely.
And you're lucky if you can get two of the three. But I mean, usually you can get two of the three. So
fast is never a one for me.
Yeah. It's a lot of time, and one of the reasons I'm wearing this Tick is I think it's one of the least expensive I pulled off. I mean, pretty much it's a blue Zentai suit. Underneath, it's actually kind of funny. I found like on a super sale. It's actually a Captain America, with the foam muscles underneath. So it gets me a little. The Tick is ridiculously drawn, of course. So it's got to look like you're real bulky. And then really it's just the antenna I made myself out of some craft foam, and there's a beret and some magnets that hold it on. But again, I think I got away with it all for under $50. So
Nice.
yeah, it's I think the cheapest one I have. But you're right. Usually cosplay is not a cheap hobby. And it's very addictive,
It's
unfortunately. It should be classified as an addictive substance.
Yeah, I'm on 20 years now, so it's definitely addictive.
Get your kids into cosplay and they want money for drugs. My costume is Margot Kidder's Lois Lane, and it was deceptively simple and inexpensive because the fabric was like $6 a yard, and I think I only needed 2 yards. And the underdress was maybe $15. And this is literally just a square with a square cut out for the neck hole. So easy. And I love this dress so much. The first time I watched the movie was before I got into cosplay, and I was like, I need that dress. It's so pretty. And I wore it. So I wore this. I made an early version of this dress before Margot Kidder passed, and I wore it trying to meet her the last time she was in Metropolis. But her line just wasn't moving because she wasn't feeling that well that day, understandably. And so her line was not moving fast. So I finally ended up getting out of line because it just didn't move. And so that's fine. I regret not meeting her, but also I would have met her on a day that she wasn't at her best. So I'm kind of glad. But then the next year she passed, and I had already been planning to remake the dress. So I decided I was like, well, now I have to. So I remade it. And the story always makes me want to cry. So Jack O'Halloran, who plays Nan, was a guest there. And I wore it to meet him. And I walked up to his table, and he looked at me, and his face lit up, and he's like, Margot, I knew you'd find a way to make it. He is so sweet. Actually, when I first started doing these virtual conventions, he was a guest for our first one, and he was just delightful. His stories, wow. He has a book out, by the way. I should plug him. Because his dad was a gangster. So he comes from organized crime, and he has stories from that, like, just wild. His panel went to a weird place where someone asked him, or like apparently in his book he talked about who he thinks killed Kennedy. Wild. Just wild. Yes. My first cosplay on a budget was Black Canary. I literally went to the mall, got a swimsuit, Hannah Montana wig, because I'd seen people in cosplay. I was like, I need to do this. And Steve was playing Bizarro Clark Kent on a budget, and his costume was fantastic. And we met, we became instant friends, and Steve's been my friend ever since. And Steve, I love you.
Cosplay gives you lots of friends that you never would have known otherwise.
Being embraced while in that cheapo costume was how I knew I found my people. It was So what about you? What are you wearing today, Andrea?
I decided to be a very casual, modern Merida. Get to wear my really crazy wig. Didn't have to be all made up. Literally clothes from my closet except a shirt I found yesterday that is an awesome blue and green plaid that's perfect for Merida.
And you look gorgeous.
I love being Merida because she's probably the closest personality-wise to me. Very tomboyish, kind of just let me get in the mud and dirt and be that person. And also, I don't have to brush this wig. The wilder it gets, the better.
I love it. I agree, Keisha. Literally,
yes.
All the lifelong friends I've found in the last few years are Cosplay Friends.
Cosplay Friends got me through the traumas of 2020 for me, between, losing my house to a fire and then losing my dad to dementia, and, having all of that. Cosplay Friends got me through. My volunteer group literally kept me sane because my dad was very, very close to my heart. I love my dad so much. So Cosplay Friends really, they are the best. They get you through way more than you ever thought they would get you through.
Seriously. And Keisha loves your red hair.
Thank you. Actually, Robin and I, this is another one of our twins, and we have the exact same wig for our costumes because she suggested it to me. I love this Merida wig so much. It's so bouncy and fun. I love it so much. It's slowly growing over the last 2 years. All of its little tangles. It's just slowly becoming this. I might have a red afro at some point.
I love that.
It's so much fun though.
It's perfect though. I mean, I knew exactly what who the character,
Like you cannot be upset in this wig. It's just so bouncy. I love it.
Beautiful.
It's keeping me awake right now.
Aww.
That and the Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, call us.
I'm telling you, you're gonna get the tea company to sponsor us. I'll be like, hey, Dr. Pepper, come on.
Yeah,
good advertising here.
We're barking up the wrong tree. Caffeine. We're sponsored by caffeine.
Yes.
We are a cafe. So Fred, on a different note, pivoting, how did you get into cosplay?
Oh boy, kind of weird because when I look back, I would sometimes make costumes for Halloween for the kids and so forth, and we went to an event at there's a science museum here in Milwaukee. And there was they have a Sci-Fi Family Day event there, and I went there, and there were a bunch of 501st members, and I got to talking to some of them, and I thought you needed some real super lots of experience and skill set, and he's like, no, we'll teach you how to do it. Just get into it, do your research. I think that's always an important thing when doing a costume is take the time to do the research first, no matter how excited you are. I've got lots of stories about being excited about a costume, diving in, and then going online and thinking, oh, I really shouldn't have done that, or shouldn't spend all that money when I should have done that.
We all have regrets.
But it's what drives you too. You need that energy, especially with cosplay, because yes. The thing I really love about cosplay is I think it's kind of like a puzzle. Figure out how to make this or get this look, and without all the resources of Hollywood,
yes.
All the millions of dollars. Well, anyway, back to the story. Sorry, you will notice with me, I tend to digress.
You're
Same.
Good company here.
We do that a lot. So
tangent. Squirrel. So, I got to know these some of the 501st guys, and they were just outstanding. And you talked
They're
about
amazing
cosplay friends, and I was thinking to myself, even like about a month ago, through all this pandemic and everything, and I really through cosplay, I found my tribe. Yes. And I'm gonna try not to get choked up when I say that.
Don't worry, I do that all the time. So somebody else crying will be good.
when I think back, throughout my life, and trying to find your tribe, the people your friend, the people that like the things you like, the things that interest you, and I just wish I had found it sooner, to be honest. Yeah. So that's kind of hooked me in. I actually the first costume I made for the 501st, and if I had known at the time I would have chosen something else, was a 501st clone trooper, which I found out later was one of the most difficult ones to do. I think it took me 9 months, half of which I think was sanding. That's one thing about cosplay I found. If you do armor costumes, I hope you like the sand, because it's just sanding, more sanding usually. And then again, it's an addictive substance. I made that, and then next came the Jedi I was working on, and again, just one after another. I think I lost count after 20 costumes now, and and then branched out beyond Star Wars and got into the superheroes and G.I. Joe, and I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I just probably just about any sci-fi I just absolutely love. So Star Trek, you name it. I'm working on Londo here from Babylon 5, one of my favorites. So it's crazy, but I love it.
Also, David says awesome tick cosplay, and it makes him so sad that they canceled the show.
This is going to be controversial. I didn't watch the Amazon show. I
haven't watched it either.
I am a huge Patrick Warburton fan. In my mind, he is the Tick. I cannot mentally fathom anybody else in the role. In the cartoon, I absolutely love. I think it's the greatest cartoon ever. And the wonderful thing about it is, I got to watch it with my kid, my daughter, and it's funny for adults, but it's not risque or inappropriate for kids, and it's just I think one of the best animated series of all time. It's smart, it's funny, it's just great. And of course, the live action with Patrick Warburton went away far, far too soon. That was canceled too, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hear good things about the Amazon. I just can't get there. So
if you have your perfect version, it's hard to watch anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes, no matter how good it might be.
Agreed.
I felt about the new Sabrina. I was like, I have my.
I still haven't watched that either.
I watched the first episode, and I was like, this isn't the Sabrina I know and love, and other people love it. That's cool.
Yeah. Not going to stop people from enjoying things.
The show was good, though. You know what? Everyone can love what they love.
That's the whole thing, is too many people are still on that whole gatekeeping. If it's not the original, then it's not good. Well, to you maybe, but other people might enjoy it. So quit gatekeeping. Let them enjoy what they love. It's fine.
Great.
As long as it's not hurting anyone, what's it matter to you?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
So, Fred, you kind of touched on Star Trek costuming, so let's explain your name, because
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. As
I just love this story so much.
Okay. Well, I was one of my good friends in the 501st, who's also a big Star Trek fan, and it's a big myth that Star Wars fans, Star Trek fans don't get along. They're not the same. There's a ton of us who love both, and
yes.
He once commented to me that you really look like John Delancey, the guy who played Q in Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I'm like, oh my God, he's like my favorite, character in that series. And so, of course, I, went online and I found a reasonably made Q costume. I'm extremely lucky. I have a sister-in-law who's a tailor. I mean, talk about, either learn to sew or find somebody close to you who does, because that'll help you immeasurably. And made some alterations to make it look much more realistic. And I wore the costume to C2E2, the con down in Chicago there. And, Star Trek Next Generation now is 20, 30 years gone. And so some people didn't know what the costume was. And this happened twice at C2E2. These young boys, two different sets of them, came up, and the kid goes, "Hey Mom, look, it's the Space Pope." And I just literally, died laughing. I thought that was the greatest thing. So there you go, Space Pope costuming. So
as someone raised Catholic, I appreciate a Space Pope.
Here I agree.
Yeah.
It's Space Pope. It's Space Pope, and I love it. I'm here.
I appreciate it. I have the priest that actually did my oldest brother's wedding was a big Trekkie, and so he probably would appreciate that joke as well. He started the sermon at their wedding with "A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away," and ended it on "Live long and prosper." So, trust me, there are plenty of probably religious people that would think that was a great joke.
And when you think about it, Q kind of is the Space Pope.
The Sabrina Netflix show is based on a different comic book, and that's fine. I'm sure and I know a lot of people who love it. And
yeah, but still, not your cup of tea.
I did love the original comics too, and that's actually what really got me into the Tick back when I was in college. I actually Kelly actually and I did her podcast on the Tick and how much the comics were really so different at the time and so on. But if I keep talking, we'll be here an hour, so I'll shut up.
That's okay. We understand.
YouTube,
when you have a passion.
Phoenix Sisters for that episode.
Yeah. When you have a passion for something, you can talk for hours.
Here.
Yes. So Curly is right. Craft
yes.
is fun, especially because here's a little dirty little secret. Joann's and Michael's bumps up their prices because they expect you to use coupons. And yes, Joann's and Michael's have apps. Also, Goodwill is my go-to. The number of things I've found at Goodwill and been like, okay, I can mod this. Like Andrea, you were just saying you found a shirt at Goodwill.
Oh, I have costumed entire theater productions using Goodwill. I did my first theater show was in 2016. I did a youth show that was an evening with Edgar Allan Poe, but it was steampunk. And I hit like all the local Goodwills and costumed like 20-something teenagers out of that, and literally my own costume closet for this show. So yeah, it's like you just have to be willing to look. That's the thing. You can't just go in and go, oh, I don't see anything. You have to dig to find it. But
to be creative, and you have to look at more than one Goodwill sometimes. And
yes,
it takes time.
Or other thrift stores. If you have little local thrift shops, hit those up.
Yes. Lauren wants to know if there's a space Pope, Arthur.
Not yet. Before the pandemic, we were planning a group, and we did have. We were going to do, and then obviously another probably very simple, cheap cosplay. Another, in this case, a white Sentai suit, and we were going to make the wings out of foam.
Yeah.
And that would be my budget cosplay tip. Really is, when you get packages, the blocks of foam. I save all those. I literally save all those, and you can get some foam sculpting tools relatively cheap. Make a lot of cool stuff out of foam. Also, rummage sales. People are getting out of yoga, so you can get a lot of cheap yoga mats.
Mats. Yeah, you can make a lot of things. My Thor armor is literally made from yoga mats.
Yep, yoga mats. They're awesome.
They're literally EVA foam, which is
yeah.
And you can paint it. Unlike the packing foam, you got to coat it first before you paint it or you'll resolve it. But and I think the third thing I find helpful is but again, this was before the pandemic, so this has kind of impaired my ability in the cosplay arena, is the just going to your hardware store. You kind of have an idea of something and just go up and down the aisles. It takes forever, but then all of a sudden you'll see this piece of hardware or whatever that's like, aha, that'll work.
I'm literally going there later today because I have to make 2 steampunk wind-up doll keys in less than a month, and the whole two costumes. So
that's PT.
It's okay. All the fabrics are here. I just have to actually, sew them.
The day after Halloween, y'all. Hit the Halloween stores the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
November 1st is basically a cosplayer's Black Friday.
Yeah, you can get stuff that you can modify and make look less cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, Kristen, that is amazing. I'm still learning foam sculpting, to be honest, but yeah, so Kristen.
Props are not my strong point. So I thankfully have 3 brothers and a friend that do a lot of my props for me.
Crayley did have to get sewn into a cheap bodysuit once because the zipper broke. It was our first photo shoot together, the photo shoot that bonded us, and that was the last hurrah for her first Dark Phoenix suit. It was quite the experience.
I've been sewn into costumes. That's an interesting time.
Cheap zippers are a nightmare.
Yes.
But
I always advise if you can. I've created a little kit, like a little emergency kit.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, if
Yep.
you're going to cosplay, you need those. Although some of the cons will have, there's a group and they're fabulous people. They actually, speaking of Q, I lost a button, and I found the button and they sewed it on right there. They'll have like a little, but that's at your more of your larger cons. So yeah, get a little emergency kit for your cosplay and bring it with you.
Yeah, the volunteer group that I'm in, actually at a lot of the local cons, we set up a cosplay repair station, complete with a sewing machine, hot glue guns, hand sewing. There's pictures of me in my Captain Marvel suit at a sewing machine at one con, just sewing away on somebody's costume.
I love that.
You guys are great. Thank you. That's so appreciated by the cosplay community.
Like we do that all down through Memphis and the areas around here, and people give us donations because we're not even a nonprofit. We're literally just volunteers. So those little dollars help us buy stuff to replenish the repair station.
That's so nice.
It also helped us pay for a Barney suit once, which is another whole story.
We're going to talk about that.
Our volunteer group has a Barney suit because it was requested at one of the children's hospitals, and because of people's donations, we were able to buy a Barney suit to put on our 6'5", usually Iron Man.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's when you have video of him doing martial arts in a Barney suit. It's yeah.
You're gonna need.
I'll have to find that
at some point.
I've got to find the video.
Also, I am going to dig up a photo since we're talking cheap costumes. I should have done this before, but Fred, I'm going to pull up some of your photos and I'm going to dig up a photo of my first Black Canary costume because I should have uploaded that while we're talking cheap costumes on a budget. But Fred, why don't you talk about this one real quick?
Okay, this is, well, am I allowed to use somewhat foul language? Well, okay. The character,
or censor yourself a little bit, please.
Okay.
A little bit.
Well, if you know the movie Spaceballs, you know that this is a bad word. And,
the a-hole.
Yeah, but
we'll do it that way.
we'll do it that way. But the costume was pretty inexpensive. Really, it's just a white Dickies jumpsuit there that you can get at just about any Walmart or other store. The fun part of this though was the helmet, and that's actually just a light fixture for like a lamppost. And I just took my Dremel and cut out. Now one thing here that I had to get another one up because the first one I did when I made the cut, I made like a 90-degree cut instead of a curve. And if you do a 90-degree cut on that kind of plastic, it'll just crack right there. So you kind of have to make a slight curve in the cuts there. And then I also reinforced it with some, and this was a neat trick that somebody, I was having trouble with those cracks forming, and somebody on the internet suggested putting some super glue and then covering it with just regular Scotch tape to reinforce it. And it was perfect. Again, the cosplay community, just these great tips and things. And then, of course, that little microphone was from a really old just a headset mic that's been lying around. One thing when you do cosplay, you become a little bit of a hoarder in terms of just keeping junk and crap around. And so I just cut the microphone out of there, and there you have it.
Much to my husband's chagrin.
Yes.
Kristen, I'm surrounded by a-holes.
There you go, a-holes. That would call it. Perfect. Thank you, Kristen. I couldn't think of a way to say that without being getting us in trouble with the censors. Do you have censors? You guys got people with buttons there cutting you off there?
We do not.
Okay, I just thought.
And we already had an F-bomb drop last night. So.
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
It'll be censored on the replay. So Lauren would like to know if Andrea has ever cosplayed Rapunzel.
I have not. She has been on my list, but she is one of the princesses I have not done. I've done Snow White, Aurora, and Merida, and I would like to do a few more, but Rapunzel, I could almost use my real hair if it was blonde.
You're
so much.
long and so pretty.
It's underneath this massive thing, but yeah, she is definitely on my list. I've made Rapunzel for someone else, but I've never cosplayed Rapunzel.
She's on my list too, but getting a wig for her.
Yeah.
That wig is intimidating.
Yeah, wigs are another thing I'm not great at. My friend that always did our wigs lives in Japan now, so I don't have my wig person locally.
Ooh, that's
Yeah, she kind of up and moved to Japan and teaches English to kindergartners. So bravo for her, but I miss her. That was my best friend in cosplay for so long.
Aww.
That's okay. We had a good 10 years of cosplaying together.
And this is my very first costume.
I love it. I've never seen it. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
Now you've seen it. That's literally my run to the mall and make a costume real quick. That's my sister in another inexpensive costume. I made that one ahead of time. That was before I really knew a whole lot. And I mean, you know what? Everyone starts somewhere.
Yes.
And we had a lot of fun that day. So
that's what I tell so many people. All these people that are now huge, and you see all these crazy builds, they started small too. Remember that not everybody starts with like a theater costuming background, and they have help along the way. Like literally this year is 20 years for me, and I still run to my mom who taught me how to sew and go, how can I do this? It's driving me crazy.
Photography by Steve Fisher. Yes. Thank you, Steve. Yes. And I was able to pull that up so quickly because I posted a picture of a current photo shoot, and Steve shared that was kind of like this started. I'm like, yep. And I love that picture. I look at that picture. I'm like, I was having fun.
I see pictures from my very first one was the Star Wars Celebration in 2002, and my mom and dad paid for us to go to that. My mom actually took us. I was 19, and she made most of the costumes, and I helped. We had no money, but somehow we turned out my Padme costume, my youngest brother's Jedi, my oldest brother's Palpatine robe, my sister-in-law was one of the handmaidens, and my middle brother was Darth Maul. We turned those out probably for a couple $100 for 5 costumes.
That is impressive. I would love you to show that off.
Yeah,
I will have. Let me see. I might have some pictures I can send to Kelly real quick while we talk.
Lauren says I could join the cast of Chicago. Thank you, Lauren. I love you, Lauren. You're so sweet. Also, Lauren wants to be Rapunzel, and yes, Lauren, you should be Rapunzel.
Be whoever you want to be.
Rapunzel is basically my favorite Disney princess these days.
She's so much fun and so happy.
I love her so much. All right, so Fred, let's talk about this one. We're getting off topic, but this is how we do.
That's what we do. We're good at this.
I'm also a member of a local group here called The Nine that does Lord of the Rings cosplay. Ooh. And this is a Nazgul. And this was at the, we go to the Bristol Ren Fair. Well, at least before COVID, we did once a year and with our costumes. And again, it's relatively easy. You know, it's pretty much 3 black robes. And the outermost robe is actually my sister-in-law made it out of sackcloth. And it was kind of funny. I remember going to Joanne and getting the sackcloth fabric, and the lady behind the counter is just looking, and she's like, what are you using this for? And I'm like, oh, we're going to make a robe out of it. And she just gave a look like, it's going to itch like crazy. And it's like, well, wearing, you know, 2 other robes underneath of it. And it's really kind of ratty and torn, and it really kind of makes the costume. The things that cost the most, obviously, are the gauntlets. But surprisingly, and again, you gotta look around and look for sales and things. I found them relatively. I think I got them for like $30 or $40 on Amazon, and they are metal. So again, just gotta keep your eye out for when things kind of go on sale, and you know, obviously the sign there kind of makes the in my mind. I always like to add humor to my costumes, especially in something as dark as a Nazgul.
Oh, definitely.
So.
Also, you're in a Lord of the Rings group, and you haven't invited me yet. You do know I have an armor costume, right?
I don't. Ooh, I need to then. We need to.
She wore it on one of the shows.
I was not aware of that fact.
It is beautiful, and it's got amazing sleeves.
Yes, the sleeves.
Those sleeves are amazing.
I don't think we have one yet, so we definitely need an Arwen.
Okay, we'll talk after.
Yeah.
Crowley's first costume was a fandom. Yes, Crowley was Felicity Smoke. And so she had a Star Labs. Oh, yes, Steve. I'm going to check my messages. Okay. Hold on. Steve, you might have to resend it because I'm not seeing it yet. But in the meantime, I'm going to show Andrea's pictures because those just came through.
I was trying to find one more. Yeah, that's the back of our costumes. My mom, funnily enough, made mine. I made most of the Darth Maul costume.
Wow.
Yeah, the only thing he was missing was the boots. Yeah, that was the first cosplay. That was 20 years ago.
Wow, little baby cosplayer Andrea.
I was 19 years old in that picture. I will be 39 next month. So I've been cosplaying longer than a lot of cosplayers have been alive.
All right, Fred, do you want to talk about this one real quick?
Another great thing, if you have any friends who are, and I have a friend who's, I think, works for a company that does signs, Sintra, the material, it's really great stuff. It's what they make a lot of like real estate signs out of. Mm-hmm. And it's, if you heat it up, it's bendable. And they had a lot of the Mandalorian mercs make their Mandalorian armor out of it. And so I had this piece of it and wondering what to do with it. And I'm a huge old classic Doctor Who fan. And so I thought, okay, you know me, I always like to make something simple and easy. So I tried to make the classic Time Lord. I don't know what you want to call it. Collar, I think is what they refer to it as. Obviously not an easy shape and just, again, a whole ton of work. But again, just a whole bunch, just getting some cheap, gold ribbon from the local fabric store. The cap is just it's an old like plastic Halloween Roman hat or something, and I just cut it to look the shape. It barely fits on my head. And then the robes are just, I think the inner robe is actually a college graduation, yellow robe that you can get, I think, for less than $20. And then the outer robe, again, I think post Halloween sale. You're absolutely right. In fact, I think it was like supposed to be like a king's robe or something like that. And the other great thing is if you know somebody who does scrapbooking, steal their Cricut machine and you can all kinds of cool and interesting patterns and cut them out on sticky paper and whatever to make the little Time Lord symbols on it there. So I've pretty much stolen the wife's Cricut machine, but don't tell her.
Cricut machines are amazing.
That's something I need to invest in, is one of those.
Unfortunately, now I've been told that Cricut actually charges you like every time you use it or something crazy like that. The wife has an older machine that doesn't do that, so you may even want to see if you can pick up a used one then.
So this is the costume that Steve sent me.
Wow.
Steve, this is my favorite of your costumes, but like I love all your costumes, but this is my favorite because the makeup is incredible. Like this is awesome. Really great too, but this is obviously the old George Reeves, Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen. Steve is the Clark Kent, and so good.
Getting that grayscale on it to look natural is so hard.
He did that. He's really good at makeup. Like
that is beautiful.
It's incredible. Yeah, it looks even better in person, but the photo, wow. They did that at the Superman celebration. It all comes back to the Superman celebration, people. I'm gonna get you all to come.
Someday. I know so many people that go, but I have never been. And as my dad was a big Superman fan, I need to go just once.
The Adventures of Superman Season 2. Season 3 was the first in color, and Season 2 was only black and white with Noelle Neal. And for anyone who hasn't been to Metropolis, Noelle Neal basically was the first lady of Metropolis. For the last years of her life, she had even moved to Metropolis, and she went to every Superman celebration. She was very, very kind, very gracious, just very sweet, very giving. Metropolis was her hometown. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Oh, yeah. Curly says it sounds like Cricut went the way of Adobe Creative Suite. Yeah. Damn you, Adobe. That's a whole other. That's a whole other rant.
That's another whole episode.
Apparently, Adobe is not going to be a sponsor, or
for Cricut.
That's okay.
We'll leave that. We'll keep it positive. We'll keep it light, and let's go to this costume. This is really fun.
My daughter got sick during a vacation and was we were sort of stuck inside. And so we started, we started binge watching Gravity Falls and fell in love with it. So this is Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. And pretty much all this is I had a bunch of cardboard, again, save your boxes and foam and all that stuff. And I think I got maybe 5 or 6 rolls of yellow duct tape. And pretty much just duct tape, yellow duct tape, made it parallel because Bill is actually a pyramid with little bricks and things like that. And then pretty much craft foam the rest. And there you go. And again, probably one of my other cheapest, because pretty much the only thing I spent money on was the yellow duct tape and the craft foam. So there you have it. The only problem with this costume is I can't really take it anywhere. It doesn't fold up. It doesn't fit in the car. So again, sometimes I thought later on maybe I should have figured out a way to get it to fold, but oh well. The other problem I have is nobody wants to shake my hand when I'm in this costume. So if you know the series, you know why.
And Kristen sent me a couple of her brother Matt. These are really good.
Okay, $20.99 Spidey.
Yeah. And Casey Jones, I believe.
Yes.
Very, very good.
I'm a big fan of the $20.99 Spider-Man. I remember when that comic first came out.
So good.
Oh, yes.
It is right. Adobe does still make really great products. They just left her price range. Mine too. When they make changes, yeah. They want money, understandably so, and they're definitely priced towards high-end professionals, which is
not all of us are. Some of us are just poor fans that like to make things.
Yes. So what about this one, Fred?
I am a huge fan of The Expanse. If you're a sci-fi fan and you're not watching The Expanse, shame on you.
My brother loves the books. I don't know if he's watched the show, but he's a big fan of the books.
I am a big fan of the books too. Everything is just outstanding, and the same guys that write the books kind of run the TV show. So it's kind of interesting to see the slight differences between the two. The TV show is almost like I don't want to say a rewrite, but of the books. But this is a Mars Congressional Republic Navy jumpsuit or uniform. Again, I seem to get a lot of traction out of Dickies jumpsuits. They're great. Half the costumes out there, I think you can just grab a Dickies, do some sewing, and modify a bit. The collar, obviously, my sister-in-law did some sewing there, but it wasn't too complex, as well as the piping stripe down the one side. The actual MCRN and the logo, and I apologize, I don't have a clearer picture of it. I just got some iron-on paper, and you just put it in your printer. You print out what you want, and then you grab your iron and practice, because you need just about the right amount of heat and everything else to make it stick. But then if you go on too long, it'll start to melt.
We made a lot of T-shirts like that back in the day before you could buy fandom stuff everywhere.
Yeah, and it's great. And there you have it, a duster for very little.
Very nice. And then you sent me one more. This is my favorite of the ones you sent me. This is amazing.
Well, this is one of the first I think I did. I talked about doing costumes for Halloween and things. And the kids, this was when the Lego movie first came out many years ago, and the kids obviously wanted to do the characters from that. And I didn't tell them I was working on this. And again, there's your packing foam. I think we had just bought a refrigerator or something, and so we had these huge plates of foam, and and I got a Lego. It's actually a Lego brick sifter. It looks like a Lego head, and you put the Lego bricks in, and it sifts them down. I actually cut it up for the face, but then the rest of it was all just foam I cut and painted. It was kind of funny because it was so big. I had to kind of watch where I was walking and everything else. And I didn't tell the kids, and the kids walked in and into that room. And then I was like, President Business, I'm here to get you. And so there you go. They loved it.
And Lauren is asking if there's a Space Pope Red Dwarf.
There is but it's a good. Maybe I'll have to think about that. I have to rewatch that series. Gosh, it's been forever. I remember it was good. I used to watch it after Doctor Who back when I was a kid on PBS. Would play that, and but I'd have to think about that. Which character?
Ooh, Lauren, you're gonna have to make some requests.
New movie. I wasn't to realize that. Oh, wow. I was not aware of that.
Well, we're gonna have to look this up.
Yeah.
So normally we do our "I'm Too Sexy" dance, but I can't stand up. I don't know if you two want to do it. Where we stand up and do a catwalk and show off our costumes.
Oh, okay.
We can skip that. We're almost out of time.
See, well, there's not much to see here. It's just blue.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. I'm too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. Too sexy for my cosplay. I'm too sexy for my cosplay. Spoon. Thank you, Fred. You've been. I thought I warned you, but I've been so scatterbrained. Andrea, are you able to stand up?
I'm in my usual spot. Look, if you just want to see jeans and a t-shirt, it's
for my cosplay. I'm too sexy for Milan, New York, and Japan. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. This is a more cramped space than usual because I can't be downstairs because then we would have children guest stars.
Yeah, I had to lock the cats out for today because last episode they wanted to be the center point. Yeah, Hermes decided to take over the cosplay cafe 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, it was appropriate with my Camp Half-Blood cosplay, but yeah.
Well, I love that Keisha is excited about me singing because the story I like to tell is when I was little, I turned to my mom and asked if I was a good singer, and she was like, "You're not the best." And I'm like, "Joke's on you, Mom. Now people tune in every 2 weeks to watch you sing."
What would we be without you singing "I'm Too Sexy"? Gotta have our right, said Fred, every 2 weeks.
That is exactly it, Johnny.
We talk about putting on pants. There's a lot of times we mention, I actually put on pants for the show. So. Hey, look, you'll like my socks though, Kelly. I have no shoes. They're Phoenixes.
They are beautiful. Oh,
one of my friends gave them to me.
You're my best friend.
Yeah, I decided to go no shoes today. I just woke up at 9:30, so.
We have decided, I have requested that Johnny put "I'm Too Sexy for This Cosplay" merch in the back of the Cereal Box store. So that's coming. That's coming.
I will totally need a t-shirt or a hoodie of that. Or a mug. We need mugs for the show. Yeah. That's what we need.
Yes, that is
merchandising.
All right, and Steve sent me another picture, and I love this so much.
Oh, that is so cool.
That is Stephanie Perrin as the Noelle Neal Lois, and then on the right we have Jamie and Rhonda Kelly, who make a fabulous Lois and Clark. Like the first year I went to Metropolis, they were wandering around as Lois and Clark. I was like, oh, it's amazing. Like, yeah.
I'm speechless. My jaw's on the floor. I'm like, if you had shown me those photos, I'd like, those got to be photoshopped.
That is some really amazing makeup.
I'm too sexy for my cosplay mug. Yes. I don't care if I'm the only person who buys it. I need one.
I will buy one.
Yay.
I'll buy one.
Hello, Carl.
Yes, I will buy one and then buy them as gifts for everyone that cosplays.
Here you go. Have some merch.
And hey, if you keep looking at it, maybe you'll think you are too sexy for it, and then it'll help boost everyone's confidence. That's what we're going for.
Let it sink in, because you know what? We are all about building up people's confidence here.
It's a cosplay love.
We kind of talk about body positivity a lot. That's our thing.
I talk about it, but boy, does it hit up here sometimes. Looking at yourself in cosplay is a whole lot harder than looking at someone else.
Yeah, we have to be kinder to ourselves.
That's the thing, is you look at it and you're like, you sit there and you boost up everybody else's confidence that saying, I don't look good, I'm too big for this costume, and you're like, no, you look beautiful. Then you look at yourself and you're like, you look horrible. What are you doing?
That is why I always try to talk to myself like I talk to my friends.
Yes.
So I try to train my inner voice and talk to myself like I talk to
Exactly. So you saw my pictures 20 years ago. I was a size 2 when I started cosplaying. I'm a size 14 currently. That'll mess with your head. You go from being the very small cosplayer to being borderline on the plus side. And while you see other plus size cosplayers, you're like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. I love her work. And then you just look at yourself like, go to the gym.
So. Johnny has a little crush on you.
Oh, thank you,
Johnny. I have a girl crush on Andrea. So you know what?
You guys are gonna make me blush. You can't see it because of the hair, but
Curly says we'd have at least 3 sales of those mugs. Heck, yes.
Well, I mean, we'd have to use them for the show. So
seriously, I'm always looking for new mugs for the show.
Aww, I love mugs.
Keisha,
thank you, Keisha.
Too. I think Fred is the most beautiful of us all on screen right now.
I know. You're just making us look just plain over here, Fred.
We do love you, Fred. Thank you so much for being a fantastic guest.
Thanks for having me. I loved it. I love doing this stuff. You know that.
It's always so much fun.
All right, let me see who. We're getting lots of comments right now. Now that we have 5 minutes left. Okay.
Of course.
Carol says he loves the tick. And Keisha says, yes, blue looks great on you. It is your color, Fred.
Blue is a good color. I support the blue. That's my favorite. My hair is blue underneath this wig. So
I love your blue hair.
It's faded. It needs redying, but
Fred, do you have any parting words on cosplay that you would like to share?
I really think the main thing is pick characters you love. And that's really the major thing, I think. And if other folks don't love the characters, who cares? You got to love it, because it's a lot of work, and there's going to be times when you're going to be frustrated. And if you don't love the character, what are you doing?
Definitely.
Do it because you love the character and you want to be the character and be the character. That's the fun up. Why else to cosplay? That's
You use the right word there too. Fun. If it's not fun, you should not be doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. Words of wisdom.
I agree. All right. So I am going to drop you two out, and I know. Bye, Felicia. Thank you both for a wonderful panel. I am. Well, Noah's not here yet, but I'm going to give her spiel on donations, because this is a fundraiser, and
you guys can win some cool stuff.
I know.
I'm going to promote, because my little brother donated art to this, so you can win some of his original art and a signed comic that there's only 200 in print. I'll make somebody a custom corset. Kelly wore one yesterday.
And it is gorgeous, and it fit like a dream. time, and you did not see me or fit it on me, and it fit like a darn dream. Oh my gosh.
I love making corsets. It's one of my favorite things.
So good.
And other amazing people have donated so many cool prizes to this, and it's a great cause. So
I agree.
But, I'm always going to promote my little brother because his goal is to be a comic book artist, and he is a pretty talented dude.
He's so talented. Thank you, Carl. Carl says that was a good corset.
Thank you. I kind of did it because this is, with Valerie being from Superman, and Superman was my dad's favorite character. My dad literally was put in his casket in a Superman t-shirt instead of a suit. And so I was like, this is kind of perfect for the fundraiser and an homage to my dad, who got me into a lot of the nerdy stuff I'm into. So I was pretty happy with that S. That's all applique down. So
I agree. Well, thank you for all your donations, for getting donations from your brother. And Carl, thank you for donating. I've got your donation down. And Fred, again,
thank you everybody.
So again, I'm going to drop you both out. I'm going to give the spiel, and here is Noah. So,
all right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.
All right. So here's our little donation spiel for all of you. So here are the prize rules real quick. Donations and shares give you the chance to win our fantastic prizes. I'm going to flip through these real quick because, as we've talked about, this fundraiser is not just raising fun, but it's raising funds for Valerie Perrin, who is struggling with Parkinson's disease, because we love Valerie. She's given us so much over the years, over her great career, so much entertainment, so much art that is worth preserving, so much joy, and we want to give back and help her.
The Multiverse Fundraiser is a benefit for Oscar-nominated actress Valerie Perrin. Ms. Perrin is known for her roles in Superman, Slaughterhouse-5, Lenny, and so many more. We've teamed up with documentary director Stacey Souther to raise money for Valerie's medical expenses and other needs. Every donation and every post share gives you the chance to win super prizes. Go to the website listed for details.